If you had asked a car industry veteran 5 years ago which automaker would shatter electric SUV pre-order records in China, few would have bet on Mazda. Yet here we are, with over 20,000 eager buyers lining up in just 2 weeks to claim the new Mazda EZ-60, a car so anticipated that some dealerships can barely keep up with the buzz. What makes this electric SUV so irresistible to Chinese drivers? Is Mazda, a brand long known for its zoom driving charm rather than cutting-edge electrification, about to rewrite the rules of the global EV game? Imagine walking into a gleaming showroom in Shanghai or Shenzhen. Posters of the EZ-60 dominate the walls, showing off a sleek, almost futuristic SUV, one that could easily be mistaken for the latest Tesla or NIO at first glance. But look closer. There, on the badge, is Mazda's familiar logo, now representing something altogether new. The EZ-60, Mazda's first all-electric SUV for China, has landed, and it's not just a car. It's a symbol of a high-stakes transformation, not only for Mazda, but for the electric vehicle industry worldwide. But how did Mazda, a company better known for its nimble roadsters and rotary engines, end up here? To understand the gravity of this moment, we need to take a brisk but essential look at the story that led up to the EZ-60's arrival, the rapid evolution of the Chinese EV market, and the immense global forces at play. Mazda's journey toward electrification hasn't been as swift, or as smooth, as that of some rivals. For decades, the company's DNA was all about mechanical simplicity, lightweight designs, and joyful driving dynamics. The very soul of Mazda was summed up in a single phrase: Jinba Itai, the oneness of horse and rider. Electrification? For years it felt like a forced detour. But market realities hit hard. China, the world's largest car market, became ground zero for the biggest upheaval the industry has faced in a century. As Tesla, BYD, and NIO raced ahead, innovation in batteries, connectivity, and autonomous features reshaped Chinese roads. If Mazda wanted to survive, let alone thrive, adapting was no longer just an option. It was a matter of life or death. Enter Changan Auto, a Chinese powerhouse with expertise in cost-effective manufacturing and supply chain wizardry. A joint venture was born, blending Mazda's design language with Changan's deep understanding of the tech-savvy Chinese consumer. This partnership gave rise to the EZ-60, a car engineered from day one not for Mazda's loyalists in Hiroshima or Europe, but for the urban drivers of Beijing, Guangzhou, and beyond. As Masahiro Moro, Mazda's president, famously stated at the Shanghai Auto Show, the Mazda EZ-60 combines the inherent appeal of the automobile with advanced features that appeal to Chinese customers. So, what exactly is the EZ-60? On the surface, it's a mid-size electric SUV, roughly the size of a Tesla Model Y. But under the skin, it's a technological statement. Buyers can choose from two flavors: a pure battery electric vehicle, BEV, or an extended range electric vehicle, EREV, that blends electric power with a fuel-efficient gasoline engine. The BEV boasts a 600-kilometer range on the Chinese CLTC cycle, roughly 372 miles, while the EREV takes that up to a staggering 1,300 kilometers combined. Mazda didn't skimp on features either. The car boasts a 100-inch naked-eye 3D head-up display, the world's first of its kind, immense touchscreen control panels, and a voice recognition system that feels more like talking to a friend than barking orders. 9 airbags, 5 HD cameras, MEM-wave radars, and a phalanx of sensors underpin an advanced safety system. Underneath, CATL provides the LFP battery packs, known for durability and safety, while the car's near-perfect weight distribution aims to preserve Mazda's trademark driving feel. All of this rides on Changan's state-of-the-art hybrid platform, which is also designed to minimize aerodynamic drag with an array of ducts and vents, a detail any engineer can appreciate. As EV Central's analysts put it, the EZ-60 features a sleeker, lower, more attractive stance compared to the combustion-powered CX-60, suggesting improved design and aerodynamics. It's clear Mazda has sweated the small stuff. The results? Instant buzz. When the car debuted on April 23rd, it smashed the 10,000 pre-order mark within 24 hours. A record for joint venture electric SUVs in China. By the time the excitement settled, pre-orders exceeded 20,000. The EZ-60 has set a record for being the fastest joint venture new energy SUV in China to surpass 20,000 pre-orders, highlighting its immediate appeal, said Lei Kang of CNEV Post. Let's not overlook Mazda's clever sales tactics. Through a limited-time program, buyers could reserve their spot with a symbolic 10 yuan deposit, roughly the price of a fancy coffee, and watch their account grow by 10 yuan per day using an expansion code. This gamified approach tapped into Chinese consumers' love of deals and digital engagement, an emotional lever that Western car companies have often misread. This car isn't just staying in China either. Next year, the EZ-60 will hit Europe as the Mazda CX-6e, alongside the Mazda 6e electric sedan. With battery pack choices of 68.8 kilometers or 80 kilometers, WLTP-rated ranges will vary between 300 and 343 miles. Exact pricing and feature lists haven't been announced yet, adding to the intrigue for global observers. But the road ahead is anything but easy. The Chinese EV market is a gladiator arena. Price wars rage, with local titans like BYD, Geely, and XPeng slashing tags in a race to the bottom. Foreign brands, even joint ventures, are under relentless pressure, not just to innovate, but to do so cheaply, fast, and at scale. As Deutsche Bank noted in an April 2025 report, global auto brands have caught up in China's smart NEV market with Chinese NEV tech, suggesting the old foreign versus local divide is blurring. Underneath the glossy launch story lies a brewing storm. For Mazda, the big question is whether the EZ-60's initial triumph can translate to long-term success, or if it's destined to become another flash in the pan. Let's break down the main challenges. First, competition. Chinese brands understand their home turf in a radically different way from outsiders. They move at breakneck speed. BYD famously launches new models and updates in weeks, not seasons. Mazda, even with Changan's help, faces a scale and speed test unlike anything back in Japan or Europe. Second, the technology arms race is ruthless. Features that seemed premium just a year ago, fast charging, smart cockpits, advanced driver assistance, are now baseline expectations. Battery technology is evolving so quickly that even established suppliers like CATL are scrambling to keep up. Third, there's the price war. Since late 2023, Chinese EV makers have been locked in a cycle of slashing prices, sometimes selling cars at razor-thin margins or outright losses just to gain market share. This has already forced some foreign joint ventures to retreat or rethink their China strategies. For Mazda, the cost of playing in this sandbox is steep. Can they maintain not just initial excitement but sustainable profits? And then there's the global chessboard. Trade tensions, shifting supply chains, and the rising prominence of battery swap technology all threaten to upend even the best-laid plans. The EZ-60 is launching into a world that is increasingly unpredictable, where yesterday's advantage can become today's liability. And yet, Mazda's top brass are anything but naive. Masahiro Moro, the company's president, laid out a vision. Mazda is committed to striking the right balance of efficient business management and development of sustainable technology. The partnership with CATL, one of the world's battery giants, provides a technological backbone, and their collaboration with Changan gives them access to local market insights and rapid development cycles. Still, one has to wonder, will Mazda's famed attention to detail, its commitment to driving pleasure, and its newfound technological muscle be enough to survive the unforgiving Darwinism of China's EV market? Or will the brand's late entry and outsider status ultimately prove too big an obstacle? As dealerships begin to fill with EZ-60s, and as test drives ignite a new wave of reviews and social media chatter, the clock is ticking. The initial success is undeniable, but in this market, hype vanishes quickly. The real test is just beginning. So, what happens when a legacy automaker with everything to prove goes head-to-head with the world's most aggressive, dynamic, and unpredictable EV battlefield? Can Mazda's dream car become a lasting reality, or is the EZ-60 about to wake up to a harsh new world? Coming up, will Mazda's joint venture electrification strategy hold up as the next phase of China's EV price war intensifies? And how will the lessons learned here reshape not just Mazda's future, but the global auto industry as a whole? Let's dig deeper. But as the Mazda EZ-60 makes its grand arrival and shatters pre-order records, the intense spotlight of the Chinese EV market brings new risks as well as opportunities. What will the next chapter look like for Mazda, its rivals, and even the global automotive landscape? The truth is, the story is far from over, and the stakes have never been higher. Let's start with the obvious. The Chinese EV market is a crucible, relentlessly forging winners and discarding those who can't keep up. Price wars are not just a headline, they're a daily reality. Mazda's EZ-60 enters the fray at a time when Chinese giants like BYD, NIO, XPeng, and Geely have not only lowered prices, but are also pushing the boundaries of technology at record speed. This is a market where even today's best-selling car can fall out of favor tomorrow if its tech, features, or price tag don't keep pace. Mazda, historically known for its engineering ethos and emotional driving experience, is now faced with a market that prizes digital intelligence, connectivity, and relentless value. The 20,000 pre-orders for the EZ-60 are impressive, but can Mazda continue this trajectory as the price war escalates? Where can the cracks begin to show? One risk comes from the sheer velocity of innovation. Take the 100-inch naked-eye 3D head-up display and the 26-45-inch curved touchscreen. These are headline-grabbing features today. But what about 6 months from now? What happens when a rival offers a similarly priced model with 5G-enabled smart cabins, LiDAR sensors, or even battery swap technology already being explored by big players like NIO? Continuous investment will be needed just to keep up. There's also the threat from below. Local brands are ruthlessly efficient at bringing high-quality, competitively priced EVs to market. BYD and Geely in particular have vertically integrated supply chains, allowing them to slash costs and undercut even their foreign joint venture rivals. In such an environment, profitability is easily sacrificed at the altar of market share. Even Mazda's advanced CATL LFP batteries, hailed as a coup for range and safety, could be quickly outmoded if solid-state or sodium-ion battery breakthroughs reach mass market adoption. This is a sector where, as one analyst at EV Central put it, the lead time between innovation and commoditization is measured in quarters, not years. Mazda's partnership with Changan Auto offers strategic advantages, access to local know-how, government deals, and supply chains. But it also raises questions. In a market where national pride can sway consumer sentiment, will Mazda's joint venture status be a help or a liability? Some point to Changan's proven track record as a strength. Others warn that joint ventures sometimes struggle to adapt as rapidly as nimble upstarts. Then there's the global angle. The EZ-60 is set to launch in Europe next year as the CX-6E, with a different badge but a similar technical heart. But amid mounting trade tensions between China, the EU, and the US, will Mazda's Chinese-made EVs face tariffs, regulatory hurdles, or even public backlash? Some Western governments are already tightening rules on imported EVs, especially those with Chinese-sourced batteries. This could squeeze margins or even limit availability. Let's not forget how brutal the Chinese EV market can be for international brands. We've seen it before. Tesla, after years of dominance, is now fighting for share with price cuts and local partnerships. Ford pulled back after lackluster sales. Volkswagen, for decades a market leader, is scrambling to regain relevance through software upgrades and intensive joint venture R&D. No one is immune. On the other hand, Mazda's approach is not just to mimic but to blend, bringing its distinctive design DNA, the Jinba Itai driving philosophy, and a reputation for quality into the digital arena. Masahiro Moro, Mazda's boldly optimistic president, put it this way at the Shanghai Auto Show: "We are committed to striking the right balance of efficient business management and development of sustainable technology." So what are Mazda's true opportunities here? The EZ-60's dual powertrain, pure electric for the tech-savvy urban buyer, and extended range for those wary of charging infrastructure, gives it a broad appeal. Its sleek, aerodynamic design and high-tech cockpit deliver the futuristic vibe Chinese consumers demand. And the integration with Changan means rapid localization of features, from infotainment to digital services. There is space here for a clever, hybrid strategy. Mazda could lean into its joint venture relationship to roll out new models faster, experiment with subscription-based services, or tap into the emerging battery swap networks springing up in China's megacities. If executed well, Mazda can avoid the fate of other foreign brands that failed to localize quickly enough. What's more, the lessons Mazda learns in China, the world's most dynamic EV battleground, can be exported worldwide. As the EZ-60 is prepped for Europe and beyond, Mazda will be equipped with real-world feedback, software update cycles, and supply chain agility. This could give it unexpected advantages as the rest of the world EV market catches up to China in the coming years. But the brutal reality remains. Sustaining both momentum and profitability in China will be a balancing act. As price wars intensify, Mazda must decide where to draw the line. Chase market share at the risk of shrinking margins, or build a premium, loyal customer base willing to pay more for Mazda's signature blend of emotion and technology? Or perhaps it can do both, with separate product lines or carefully targeted features. Industry insiders are watching closely to see whether Mazda will invest further in vertical integration. Think in-house software development, battery partnerships, or even its own charging ecosystem. With every new model cycle, the ante is raised. In China's EV market, the only constant is speed, says Lei Kang, a leading voice at CNEV Post. Mazda's challenge is to make speed work for them, not against them. So what does all this mean for you, the viewer? If you're a car buyer, especially in China or Europe, this is a moment of unprecedented choice, but also of confusion. Price cuts, feature upgrades, and wild innovation cycles mean that today's best buy may look dated in a few short months. Will the Mazda EZ-60 hold its value, or become just another face in the crowd when the next big thing launches? For investors, the message is clear. Don't just watch sales numbers. Pay attention to how quickly Mazda responds to feedback, how well it manages costs, and whether its global expansion plans can weather political storms. Early hype is nice, but real staying power is demonstrated in year 2 and 3 after the headlines fade. If you're an industry insider, Mazda's story is a masterclass in adaptation. The company was once seen as a slow mover in electrification. Now it's breaking records in the world's toughest market. The key lesson: partnerships matter. But even more crucial is the willingness to localize, not just with hardware, but with digital services, marketing, and customer engagement. For tech enthusiasts and EV fans, this is an era of supercharged progress. Features like the 100-inch 3D HUD might be jaw-dropping, but they also point to a new arms race where tomorrow's must-have is today's standard. If you're shopping for an EV, consider your needs carefully. Do you need the latest gadget, the longest range, or the best after-sales support? The answer may determine your happiness more than any press release ever could. One practical tip: if you're considering an import EV, keep an eye on changing trade policies. What looks like a great deal now could be impacted by new tariffs, especially as Europe and the US revisit their relationships with Chinese auto giants. Flexibility and timing are everything. And finally, the broadest lesson: the future belongs to those who can learn, adapt, and act quickly. Mazda's pivot into China's ultra-competitive EV sector shows that even legacy automakers can reinvent themselves, if they're willing to take risks and embrace local collaboration. As we bring our story to a close, let's return to that burning question. Can Mazda sustain its early momentum and profitability in the face of China's EV price war? The answer? It's complicated, but promising. Mazda has achieved the rare feat of grabbing attention and orders in a market notorious for devouring even the strongest competitors. Its initial pre-order numbers reveal a genuine appeal, and its partnership with Changan is giving it valuable tools to localize and innovate. But the months ahead will be pivotal. Mazda must navigate the knife edge of price competition while making sure its brand doesn't become diluted by cutthroat deals. At the same time, it needs to keep upgrading tech and expanding its service ecosystem if it wants to retain its customer base amidst fickle consumer tastes. If Mazda can stay nimble, updating features quickly, leveraging fast feedback from Chinese buyers, and investing in the next wave of battery and software innovation, it stands a real chance not just to survive, but to thrive. And here's a little-known fact for you. While everyone's focused on the headlines about the EZ-60's flashy features, behind the scenes, Mazda and Changan are quietly testing battery swap technology in select Chinese cities right now. If successful, this could make the next Mazda EVs not only competitive, but revolutionary in how consumers think about refueling and convenience. So, whether you're a Mazda fan, an EV shopper, or just fascinated by the breakneck evolution of the car industry, keep your eyes on the EZ-60 story. The real drama is just beginning. Will Mazda carve out a lasting place in the world's toughest market, or become another cautionary tale? We'll be watching, and we'll keep bringing you the updates, the expert analysis, and the behind-the-scenes secrets as they unfold. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next automotive investigation. What do you think? Are you rooting for Mazda, or do you see a different winner in this battle of giants? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.